Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and we have a brand new archetype revealed. Behold, the Unholy Requiem of the Fiendsmiths, or the Demonsmiths. So basically, it's an archetype that's lore is based around these smiths who turn demons into weapons. So let's get straight into this. So first things first, we have the Demon Smith or Fiendish Smith, Malwokismo. It's a level 6 light fiend effect monster. This is the only main deck monster we have so far. It's 1800 attack, 2400 defense. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card once a turn. You could discard this card, add one Fiendish Smith or Demon Smith spell trap from your deck to your hand. Target one Demon Smith equip card you control and one monster on the field, send them to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck, extra deck, special summon this card. So it's a very interesting card. So basically, you want to discard it to then add a spell trap, which is probably how the deck works. And then it has two other effects which are really pretty interesting. That are like, hey, target a fiendship equip card you control and one monster on the field, send them to grave. I don't know what the point of that would be, but it sounds interesting. And then the third effect is just like a way to bring it back, which is like, hey, in this card's a graveyard, to shuffle back a light fiend monster from your grave into the deck or extra deck, special summon it back. So it reshuffles back your extra deck monsters and bring it back. So interesting card. I don't know enough about this archetype to know how that second effect applies, but we'll just find out. Then we have the Demon Smith, Samora. Badass artwork. It looks like he has a huge ass gun with an eyeball popping out with teeth. It requires two light fiend monsters. Right away, I'm trying to think of a light fiend archetype. I really can't think of any. I think most fiend archetypes are dark. Like, I was thinking like maybe like Fables. Like, I think some of them are lights, but most of them I think are darks. And Burning Abyss are darks. I guess Magical Musketeers, I think they're fiends. They're some of them are lights, so maybe Magical Musketeers. I'm really not sure, so we'll just have to keep reading. I can only use the first and third effect of this card once a turn. And this card is fusion summoned. Target one light fiend monster in your graveyard or banishment. Either add it to your hand or special summon it. That's the second time in a card art that they refer to the banished zone as the banishment. I guess the banishment is now the official name of the banished zone, which is pretty nice. It only took Konami like 25 years to actually name what the banished zone was called. The second effect is monsters your opponent controls lose 600 attack. And then third effect, if this card is set to graveyard, shuffle one light other fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck, extra deck, inflict 1200 damage to your opponent. So that's interesting. That's kind of a lackluster effect, to be honest. It does target a light fiend monster in your grave or banish it, adds it back to hand, or special summons it. So I guess it's an extender, which is cool, but it doesn't really do anything on field besides giving everyone less than 600 attack. And then it has a cool, like, if it's set to grave, float effect, and burns too. So, I don't know. It seems interesting. We'll just have to keep reading. Next, we have Demon Smith Diaz Iris. This is a level 9 light fiend fusion effect monster. 2800 attack, 2400 defense. Fiendish Smith plus 2 light fiend monsters. Can only use this name's first and second effect of this once per turn. Quick effect, negate the effects of number of face-up cards on the field until the end of the turn, up to the total number of link monsters equipped to this card as an equipped card. Okay, so I guess there's links in this deck. That's a very powerful effect. If you get like 2 or 3 links attached to this guy, I guess he's like a triple negate quick effect, which is kind of solid. The only issue there, I would say, is that because it's just like, oh, it's just a once per turn, you do get like 3 negates, but they could just play around it by like playing one must negate and then playing another must negate right afterwards. Because yes, you might have like 3 negates, but they might have another negate right afterwards. And since it wasn't at the same time, it won't hit it, which kind of sucks. It just kind of sits a graveyard. You can shovel one other light feed monster into the graveyard, into the deck, or extra deck, target one card on the field, send it to graveyard. So it has a really cool removal effect too when it dies. So I think I like Demonsmith Diaz Iras way better than his Lansamore version, but let's just keep going. So now that we have lake monsters, we have the Demonsmith Requiem. That's a beautiful name. The light 1 lake feed monster, 600 attack, arrow pointing down, requires 1 light feed monster. Again, this kind of reminds me of Magical Musketeers because I think they're all light feeds, so we'll just have to see. You can only spend summon 1 Fiendish Requiems once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, tribute this card. Spend summon 1 Fiendish monster from your hand or deck. So that's pretty solid. You could literally put any a light feed archetype, link it off into this card, and then immediately quick effect tribute this card, spell some of the main deck dude, and then that guy will search your spell. And I guess the spell is how you're going to be able to fusion summon and then go from there. So that's actually pretty good. The second effect is target 1 non-link light feed monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard to that target as an equipped spell. Give it 600 attack. So that's solid. So it has a way to basically like attach itself, which is solid. But I guess that's cool. I don't know if the 600 attack boost is enough. It does give this guy at least 1 quick effect negate. Let's keep reading. You have a second link monster. This is Demonsmith Sequel Tita. Less cool name than Requiem, but let's keep going. The link 2 feed light effect monster. 1200 attack, bottom arrows left and right. The 2 monsters, including a light feed monster. You'll use the first and second effect of this card once a turn. During the main phase, fusion summon 1 feed fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling materials mentioned from the graveyard into the deck. That's how you fusion summon, which is pretty solid. You can target 1 non-link feed monster control. Equip this card to the field or graveyard. Target as an equip spell with it as well, and it gains the effect. Your opponent can't target that equipped monster with card effects. So it gives it untarget ability. It fusion summons. This card's really, really good. So looks like it's another archetype that's going to rely on basically the support of an existing light feed archetype in order to do things, which is cool. I like that this archetype exists, but at the same time, I'm really trying to think of what other light feed archetypes there are in Yu-Gi-Oh! The only 2 I can think of is, I think some of the Fable monsters are lights, and I think, like I said, Magical Musketeers are lights. So I'm just trying to process what you play this in. Feed monsters. We have 2 more spells to go over, so we'll just have to see where it goes from here. Let's find out, shall we? Let's see. Next spell card, please. Alright, so next spell card we have is Demonsmith Tactics Tartarus. That's a cool name. I mean, I think it's either this Tactus. I think it's Tactus. Less cool name. Alright, normal spell card. Go use the first and second effect of this card once a turn. Add 1 light feed monster from your deck to your hand. Discard 1 card. That's actually really good. That's a really cool Fable effect. Do they want to be discarded? I think so. It was traded discards. I think they played it they play cards like that. That's a really good effect if you're playing this in Fables. I think all the dark worlds are dark, so that doesn't work. I know there's 1 light dark, so maybe. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Specify 1 feed monster, fusion monster for the extra deck using monsters from your hand or field's material. So it's also the fusion spell. You'll use the first and second of this effect once per turn. So you can't do the first and second, which really sucks. So, And then the final card we have... Oh, no, we have 2 cards left. The last spell we have is Demonsmith Sanctuous. It has 2 demons on it. quick play spell. You will use the first and second of this card once per turn. You control no face-up monsters or all monster control are light fiend monsters. Spell number 1 fiendish token, light, level 1, 0/0. Also, you can't declare attacks for the rest of the turn except fiend monsters. If a face-up fiendish monster you control is destroyed by opponent's card effect while this card's in your graveyard, set this card. So this card just gives you a token so you can link climb, which is solid. And overall, an interesting card. Final card is Fiendsmiths, Paradisium, which is a badass of name. You can only use the first and second of this card once a turn. Target one level 7 or higher fiend monster control. Send all cards on the field except that monster. There you go. We needed something broken to make this archetype good. That's what we need. We need something that board broke, especially since it's a trap card, which is really, really solid. If your opponent specials a monster while this card's in grave, banish this card, send one Fiendsmiths monster for your deck to extra deck to grave. So it's also a quick effect Foolish Burial. Okay, so that makes the deck actually a really solid engine now. Because now, if you can just play any light Fiend archetype, you can set up a Omni Gate plus a board breaker. Not to mention whatever your already existing archetype does. Which is actually really, really cool.